All right, so Mr. Hayes, in a nutshell, what is it exactly that you do and why is it that you're in Cayman?
Our association, or Federal Court-Appointed Receivers in the United States, and we have a group of about 200 members. And what we do are appointed by U.S. courts to recover assets. A lot of those assets are often found in foreign jurisdictions, including the Caymans.
Okay, and so Mr. Goodman, your role as a liquidator.
So I'm actually a lawyer that advises on liquidation issues, and my role would be to assist someone like Greg, who's appointed in the US, or alternatively a Cayman liquidator who's appointed by the court here to assist in the recovery of assets. Now, of course, most of the investors in Cayman tend to be US-based investors, which means there's inevitably a degree of interaction between Cayman professionals and people like Greg in the US. And the reason these conferences are important is it promotes collegiality between the professions in the US and Cayman. It allows us to share ideas about how best to serve the needs of the stakeholders in the liquidation. And a third issue, which is very important, is to promote confidence in US investors. When they put their money into Cayman, they know that if things do go wrong, if there's mismanagement or fraud or just market failures, they are able to find a way to get their money back.
How often does that fraud happen, as you just mentioned?
Well, it's not as common as it was 4 or 5 years ago, but there are a lot of cases in the United States where there are Cayman funds and assets to recover on the island.
Now, we hear the rhetoric often that Cayman is a tax haven and a lot of people are storing their money here. Do you think that there are a lot of people in the United States who still think it's that easy to hide money in Cayman?
Generally speaking, I would think a lot of people still think it's very easy to hide money. It's a lot more sophisticated than a lot of people in the United States would understand. The regulations are pretty tough. I mean, the funds that we've done, the cases we've had down here, have been very sophisticated professional people that we dealt with on the island.
So in short, it's not that easy to
Right.
hide money here?
That's right.
Okay.
I mean, what you hear, Tammy, is after the collapse of Bear Stearns, one of the judges in the US Southern District of New York referred to Cayman as an opaque and distant forum. And actually what this helps to promote is the realization in the US that actually there is a properly structured liquidation regime in Cayman, where the liquidators have very similar powers to the ones they do in the US. And the degree of cooperation that's required to realize these assets for the benefit of stakeholders requires input from the US and from Cayman.
There's a lot of talk right now coming from the UK and there's a strand coming from the US as well for a public registry of sorts as it pertains to beneficial ownership. Do you think that that is something that we need right now in Cayman?
The standard of regulatory obligations in Cayman is as high as anywhere in the world. There's no, until very recently, no requirement in the UK for a register of beneficial interest. Delaware is a jurisdiction which has far more companies where there's no declaration of beneficial interest than Cayman does. And so if there's to be that kind of imposition, it needs to be a level playing field for all if it's to achieve any purpose.
So you're saying that everybody would have to sign up to it? And of course that's what we're wrestling with right now with the UK. And as it pertains to the role here in Cayman, what you came for, the conference, would you say it was successful in achieving a better relationship, so to speak?
Well, I think it was very successful. We had about 60 people signed up for our conference. It was a lot of people from the United States came down to meet the Cayman liquidators and Cayman professionals, and a lot of interaction between the groups and talking about cases and issues and how to pursue assets. And making contacts is a whole issue. When you get a case with offshore assets, knowing how to come in locally and find the right people to help you identify and recover assets and manage the fund or liquidate the fund.
What would you say is the biggest hurdle to getting those assets back? Maybe I'm asking a very pointed, strategic question.
Well, it's more. It depends on the case. It depends on every case. But generally speaking, it's understanding the local customs and local laws and appreciating local customs and laws to be able to not step out of bounds and do what you would normally do in the U.S. You don't have the same power and authority. We have, as a receiver in the United States, we have a lot of authority and power to do exactly what we want, which is limited in the Caymans.
Correct, because we're under the UK law.
Right.
These frauds are always very sophisticated, Tammy, and what you need to do is to have a sophisticated strategic approach to how you make the recoveries. The assumption that it would just be the cash lying around in a bank account somewhere in Cayman is a misconception. There's layers upon layers of offshore structures where you may have 40 companies in a structure, only 10 of which have ever served any function. So it's important to understand the degree of sophistication that's required, and that's what this conference helps to promote.
Gentlemen, thank you for being here with us on Cayman 27 News. Certainly appreciate your insight and understanding what you do. It's now clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay with us because after the break we have your world and regional stories next.